Welcome back to the channel. We are super glad to have you back. We've got a good video for you today. We are going to show you how to nearly, if not completely, eliminate calcium issues in your RV water system. So many RVers talk about a lot of the issues they have with calcium deposits in their kitchen faucet. It could be in their showers. For us, we have a dishwasher as well as a clothes washer and dryer. And having softened water isn't just a glamour thing. If you're like me, you have a wife and 3 daughters. They like their soft hair. So that was one of the originations of getting a water softener. However, it's actually really, really good for just your RV water system as a whole, as it will keep it a lot cleaner, way less to nearly eliminating calcium deposits. You'll extend the life. I don't know about you, but I'm not one that likes to replace my appliances a lot. And this will drastically extend the life of your appliances on your rig. What we're gonna show you is what we use and how we regenerate it. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna walk around. We're going to disconnect the water softener from our system. Then we're gonna go dump it out, empty it out. We'll show you how to pour literally table salt. So a lot of water softeners out there in the RV industry, you actually have to buy like a proprietary solution or something like that. One of the main reasons we use what we use is we want to be able to go to Walmart, buy table salt, and basically come back, regenerate it, and have great soft water. So we're going to show you that entire process from beginning to end, and hopefully show you a couple tips along the way to make it a lot less stressful. So we're going to go around and unhook. The first thing we're going to do is switch over to tank water. So everybody inside can still have water. So we will flip that over.
Wait.
Now we are on tank water.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and turn the pump on as well. All right. Now we're going to come over to the park spigot and turn off the water supply. And if you watched a previous video where I showed you kind of the Y connector that we have, part of the reason that is so great is because I can actually release the water pressure on the back end of that Y water valve. So therefore I don't get wet every time I go to unplug something and plug it back in because the water pressure is already gone. We'll share a link to that other video. But you can see here, I've got it turned off, and this is the back part of the Y connector, so this is still on. And I'm just gonna turn this on. You'll see a gush like that. That basically relieves the water pressure out of the system. And then I can come over here now and unplug this, and water's not gonna squirt everywhere. So I had to learn those lessons the hard way. I don't know how many times I drenched myself, but it's not any fun, so don't recommend that. All right, let's go ahead and get this guy unplugged. I am going to go ahead and take the connectors. Actually, I'm going to leave that one on and take this one off. We'll utilize this when we come back to put everything together. So we're completely disconnected. We're just going to go ahead and grab it and bring it over here. All right, so we do use the Camco Taste Pure water softener. They come in a couple different sizes. This is basically, I think the biggest one they made at the time we purchased it. We'll go ahead and link it up so you can go check it out. I hesitate to give prices because number one, my memory is not very good. And number two, prices on these things change. So anyway, we'll just link it below. You can go check that out. So the first thing we want to do is we want to empty all of the existing water out of the system. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the other quick connector. And Lord willing, I'm going to remember where I put it. So I'm going to put it right there. And then all I do is literally find a place. This palm tree is perfect. So what I'm gonna do is turn it upside down and let the water drain out of it, okay? So if you come over here, you can see, specifically on this side, the water is just gonna drain completely out of the system. So instead of me having to sit there and hold it, because we have something else we need to do, we're just gonna let that sit. It'll drain. And while it's draining, we're gonna go make up the regeneration solution. So let's go ahead and bounce over here and do that. Okay, so I use the word regeneration solution, which sounds so sophisticated. It's really not. It's basically 2 of these Morton salt, and the brand isn't necessarily super important, but you want to use 2 of these. They are 26 ounces, so 1 pound, 10 ounces of table salt. And what I do, these things can be fun to open. Whoever invented these, I'm telling you, they wanted to like torture your nails. So we'll take that up. And I've got, I don't know how big is this thing?
Does it say on the bottom?
It is not.
Okay.
Anyway, not super big. But we're just going to dump the table salt in there and try to be patient. Actually, what I usually do, I don't have my knife on me, otherwise I would just cut it open. So I'm just going to tear that off. We'll dump all that in there.
Hopefully it hasn't. Yeah,
we
are in Florida, so it might clumped a little bit. And it is humid.
It is very humid, but absolutely beautiful. This is the perfect day. We're currently in Key West, Florida, staying at Bluewater Key RV Resort. You'll get to see a little bit of our site that we're staying at, which is Site 67. And we actually had the opportunity while we were here, before we even knew we were going to stay on this site, we were staying at a different site. And we had the opportunity to meet the owner. And he is a super, super kind gentleman. Really enjoyed getting to know him. So if you are in Key West and you are looking for a great campground to stay at, not gonna lie, it's a little spendy. This is not our normal by any stretch.
Yes, this is a resort.
Yes, not really a campground, RV resort.
It is a resort.
Yes.
Some people like to use that word very freely. This one, you actually are like, oh yeah, this is a resort.
That would be for another video. But this one, definitely worth checking out. Even if you only come and stay for a few days, it is well worth it. Okay, so I don't know why I've never done that before, but that was actually pretty easy to do that. What we're going to do is get hot water. We'll let this heat up here. And we're going to fill this up. And what we're going to want to do is try to make this into a saltier solution. Some of the videos I watch, they literally just try to pour the salt straight from here. And my goodness, I tried that. We were in...
they try to pour it right into the camp.
Yes, right into the water softener. And it just kept getting clogged up in there, and was absolutely a pain. So doing it this way, where you kind of have this nice little, and it's even got a pour, which is important. You'll see that in a minute. Having that is super nice. And you're really more making it a solution. So having these 2 items are very helpful. Number 1, just a regular butter knife. Sometimes the salt, as you're pouring it in, it can still get clogged up. The water definitely helps. And I'll probably come back and fill it up again. But this helps you. You can kind of cram it down to help encourage it through the process to get down into the water softener. And then this just helps you to make sure you get all the salt actually out of the container into the water softener. So pretty nice little tools. You already have these on board, so it's no sense going and getting anything else. Just use what you have as much as possible. We try to have a multi-purpose. If you can have one thing and use it for like 3 or 4 things, that's definitely a win in RV life. So, all right, I think we're about drained over there, so let's go over here. All right, looks like it's draining pretty good. Just gonna let the last little bit come out. But honestly, that's really good. Okay, so now what you want to do after you get the last little bit out is you want to grab it by the handle and just kind of lightly kind of drop it, I guess, because all of the resin, because it's the resin that does the work of softening your water, because it basically pulls the calcium out of or off of the resin. Okay, so when we regenerate, what we're basically doing is cleaning the resin so it can basically be recharged and ready to collect more calcium, which is what softens your water. The resin is literally like little yellow sand kernels. So you want to keep all that in there. Just drop it a little bit to get it to the bottom. And then we're going to come over here. And I would recommend you find a seat. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And again, try to get as much of the resin down there as possible. And you don't want to drop it too hard. You can break the base, and you don't want to do that. So that's what you can do. Okay, first thing you have to do is take this top off right here. That was one of the most frustrating things about water softeners in general. And there are some that they've made now that have quick disconnects and whatever. I've heard people have issues with those too. So one trick, and I don't have it out here, so hopefully we don't have that issue. But if we do, we'll just run in and grab it. The best way to make the lid easier to turn off, don't go grab some pliers or whatever and risk cracking and breaking the lid. What you want to do is just go grab a hairdryer, or if you have a heat gun, use the heat gun, kind of heat it up around there. That causes it to expand, which makes it a lot easier to turn off. A lot of times if you use pliers or something to try to get it off and you crack it, you can actually crack the inside seal. So therefore, whenever you're trying to use water, you're always going to have water dripping out. By the way, this is 2.0 of our Gibson water softener because I did exactly that, and I don't want you to have to do that. So hopefully that tip will help. So we'll see how hard this is or isn't to get off. If it is a little difficult, then we will go get the hairdryer or the heat gun. So let's just see. Yep, it's probably going to be. Oh, nope, there you go. So came off super easy. This is only its second maiden voyage. As you use it more, I guarantee you that will be harder to get off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to dump the solution into the water softener to regenerate it. And normally I would just do this. I would sit at a picnic table or something like that and do it. But because we are at this really nice site, I'm actually going to take it and put it in their kitchen sink. So that'll make it a lot easier and a lot less messy. So we'll go ahead and dump it in here and we're ready to go. So again, what I do is just take this container. Having a pour side is really nice. I'm going to try to mix the salt around just a little bit. Obviously there's a ton of salt in there. Kind of wish this container was a little bit bigger, but we're just trying to make it so the salt starts to dissolve into the water just a little bit to make it easier to pour in. You can show right here. Why don't you go ahead and show kind of the resin. You can see kind of the little resin bits. I don't know what they're called.
Beads.
Kernels, beads. Somebody can tell us what they're called in the comments. I'm sure they will.
Comment below.
Yes, comment below. So, and you're going to have to, I'll try to do it this way. Right, so then what I do is I'm just going to pour this in, and I want to make sure I'm getting as much salt as possible. Actually, what I'm going to do, I need to go the other way. Can you come over here?
Okay, yep.
Sorry, I'm a right-hander. So we're going to put as much salt up into here. You can kind of see. You just want to basically kind of scoop it out into there. Keep it wet enough to where, again, I'm going to kind of clump it on purpose just so you can see. Well, maybe I won't be able to in my new method, but
Look how good this works.
I am going to try to clump it up because it is really annoying. If you get too much salt in there, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it. Anyway, that's all right. I'm sure eventually it will. But yeah, you just kind of scoop it out with the water mixture. It keeps it going through. Making a little bit of a mess on that side, but no big deal. Oh, there we go. All right. So now, oh, still worked. So what can happen, I'm just going to show you, is you can get so much salt packed in there if you don't do it exactly right. I guess I've just done it enough that, yeah, I don't do that anymore. But that's where the butter knife comes in, is you can just kind of go down through it. There's like a couple little plastic brackets that go through there, but then there's holes, and you can just cram the salt down through there to kind of unplug it. And that will really help. And that's really only if you get to the point where the water isn't enough to take it down in there. So you can see here, I've got enough water, even though there we go. Okay. So now we're kind of to that point where I need to add some more water to the bucket. or to the container that I'm got the solution in. But yeah, so we'll just kind of do that. I'm gonna go ahead, let that sit for a second. Come over here again. Hot water is what I like to use. It just helps kind of create the solution.
Can you put too much water in there? Is that possible?
You can. So I try to keep it decent amounts. Like you can see here, like I can literally scoop the salt out of the bottom. So you don't want to have just a little salt in the bottom and then fill it up, because eventually this container is going to fill up and you're going to run out of space. So that's where you really want to use the least amount of water kind of possible, but at the same time, just enough to get it in. Exactly. Okay. And you're going to be using a lot of water here in a second, so I'll tell you more about that. Okay, let's get this guy. There. Oh, I'm glad this happened. This is good. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep as much of that in there. And I'm going to come over here and literally just push the salt down in. And kind of do it gently. You don't want to break the little plastic pieces inside. Sometimes I'll even kind of take it out a little bit, because then I can just use the water to, yeah, there we go. You can kind of see it's kind of like your bathroom sink. If you get too much hair in it or whatever, it's going to clog up. There we go. So now it's completely unclogged.
We don't know anything about bathroom sinks with hair with
I know.
4 girls.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just not even going to comment on that at this point. I'd like to wake up tomorrow, so. All right, so easy does it. Again, you can kind of see that process. It just makes it so much easier than trying to pour it right out of the container into here. If you're doing this the first time, what level of patience are you telling yourself to have? Yeah, you would want to give yourself a good, I would say, hour to regenerate, and you're going to see why in a minute, because part of this is just part of the process, and then you're actually going to let the salt do the work, and you can actually walk away, and it's more of a, what I would call kind of a passive process. Okay. But I would give yourself an hour. You don't want to be in a big hurry when you go to do this. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more water and just kind of rinse off some of the mess I made. So yeah, just kind of pour that in there, rinse the rest of it off. Again, we have the benefit of a sink, but just to be more kind of real world at a campground. You'd be using a hose for that or something. Yeah, I'd be using a hose, or I would just go inside and get hot water, fill this up, and then come back out. We did this when we were in, I'm trying to remember, I feel like it was Yosemite at the campground there. Yeah. And that was, I didn't know some of the things I know now, but that would have made it a whole lot less stressful. Okay, not really stressful. I mean, come on, you're getting soft water. It's not like life or death here. However, it can still be frustrating. All right, so now I'm going to grab the top. And so one thing you want to make sure you do, and I'm going to take a look here. Sometimes salt can get compacted into the grooves that you're getting ready to screw this on into the threads. And if that happens, it's nearly impossible to get a really good, strong seal. So therefore the water is going to come out when you plug it in, when you plug it into the water, which is the next step. So you want to make sure all that's gone. I can see here, I rinsed it off good enough that we are good to go. So now I'm going to put the top back on. These things, like anything you screw on, sometimes they can get all kind of wonky. So you just want to make sure it's straight, be patient with it. Put it down there and don't over tighten. I think that's one of the things too, is like, you can really over tighten it and do yourself a massive disservice. So just get it on there, snug, and you're good to go, okay? All right, so now we're gonna go outside, and this is where the magic happens. Okay, so on the side of the Camco system, which again is what we're using, you'll see a little arrow here that'll say flow direction, and there's an arrow pointing that way. So what you wanna do, and you can back flush these as well. Honestly, I've never done that, but I've heard you can. I just haven't. So what I always do is then I come in here, I grab my quick connect. I'll connect that to this side where the water inlet. Then I'm gonna connect my hose. All right. And then what we're gonna do is, this is kind of, you hear us say on the channel, I'm sure you've heard it in other places, slow is pro. So what we're gonna do is turn the water on, And we want to see about a pencil width of water coming out of the water outlet. Because what that's doing is it's filling the tank up with water, and it's using all of that salt to clean off all the resin that's inside of the tank, okay? So we'll do that for 30 minutes, and the time that you do it really, can vary. Again, I'll link up the specific tank and some of the specifications in the description. So if you have a slightly smaller tank, you could do a little bit less time. But what I do is 30 minutes of just rinsing it with, again, pencil width water coming out of the end. And then once 30 minutes is over, then we turn the spigot up to full flow and let it go for 8 minutes. So it's just literally putting water, making sure it's good and rinsed. So at the end of that, you can literally take your water softener, hook it back up to your coach, and you're good. For us, there's 5 of us on the coach. So we have basically nearly 5 adult-sized people on our coach. And we regenerate this tank specifically about every month. I try to do it a little more. I would rather be a little bit more proactive because I don't want to have any of those calcium deposit issues. So for me, it's just worth just come out and do it 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and
it's
be good to go.
Audrey says, my hair is not soaping up good right now.
Yes.
We're like, oh, that's the time. Okay.
Yes, and I try to beat her to that. So that's my goal, and we did this time. I have not heard that yet, so
that's right.
That's good. Okay, so what I need to do, and I actually have one, and I forgot to bring it.
Tell me if this is good.
That is perfect. So what I need to do is actually have one of those on and off valves right here, because then I can just go connect the water and then totally control it here. I forgot to grab that. But for the sake of this, that might be a little light, but that's still pretty good. So we're gonna let this sit now for 30 minutes, let it rinse itself out. Once it's done, we'll come back out, change it over to a full stream for 8 minutes, and then the process will be done. We'll show you how we go hook it up, turn everything back over, and mission complete. So stay tuned, we'll be back. So it has been 30 minutes and everything is looking good. You don't really look for anything in particular other than the water is still flowing and hasn't stopped. But really, other than that, it's been 30 minutes. Again, you can see here about a pencil width of water coming out. So now what we're gonna do is go over to the spigot, crank it all the way up, and we're gonna let it just blast for about 8 minutes. So we'll go ahead and do that.
I'll keep an eye on it here.
All right, here we go. Lefty-loosey. All right. We'll let that run for about 8 minutes total. And at the end of that, we'll just come back out, turn off the water, and we'll hook it back up to the coach. So we'll be ready to go. All right, see you in 8 minutes. All right, so we have, again, just to reiterate, 30 minutes going through at pencil width coming out the outlet. Then we cranked it up, let it go through for 8 minutes. So now it's completely regenerated, ready to go. And like I said, we'll get 3.5, 4 weeks out of this before we need to regenerate it again. So super easy. So we'll go ahead, take that off, and we're gonna take it back to the coach and hook it back up. So we'll walk through here. And this is really where you get a lot of the value of all the quick connect. You're not sitting there having to unscrew and rescrew and do all of those things, which is really nice. The only one you have to is the one you needed to take off on the outlet so it could go out. So we'll connect that. There we go.
Do you use a metal quick connect and a plastic? Are there two different kinds?
I do, for no other reason other than I just had them, so those are the ones I use.
No special reason.
I've never had any of these Gardena quick connects break on me, so that's why I buy them. They are expensive, but
you're
worth
not
it to
buying
me.
Multiple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're connecting back up through the inline water filter. We're connecting back up water to the coach. So we're gonna turn back on the water supply here. You can hear water going into the system. The tank is basically full of good water anyway. We are gonna come back over here and go from tank water, again, to city water. Before we do that, we're gonna turn off the water pump so it doesn't crank up. Turn it to city water, and mission accomplished.
Back in business.
So, super easy. You don't have to go out and buy some crazy expensive water softener filtering system. Again, we'll link up to the video where we go through our entire water system. But this Camco water softener, I mean, it's the only one that we've used. Again, this is our second version because, well, I had to learn a lot of lessons that hopefully we've taught you some things that you don't have to relearn those same lessons. But anyway, we love it. Is it good? Do you like it in your hair?
Yes, I highly recommend a water softener.
Do you like it for the appliances? We've really not had any issues.
We haven't. I mean, when
Knock
you were
on
like,
wood.
when I was like, oh, we're not gonna have a water softener, and like thinking about how that makes your skin feel and your hair, and then it was like, well, it's good for your appliances, and I was like, well, if it's good for the appliances.
That's right. We had to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we hope you've enjoyed this video. We hope it has been extremely helpful. If you do have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. If there's a different water softener, we know there's lots of good systems. So it's kind of like putting out something about your rig, and then you've got all the other, rig owners and their brands that they advocate. So if you have one that you like, we'd love to hear about it below as well. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us. If you would like to see additional content, such as our top travel resources and other free tools, be sure to join our free online community at ronanddebra.com. Before we wrap things up, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Northwest Iowa Community College. NCC has been such a great fit for our homeschool family. They offer flexible learning options online, on campus, or a mix of both, so it's easy to make education work around your adventure. Our daughter Olivia is actually dual enrolled at NCC right now. She's earning both high school and college credits at the same time. It's been such a fantastic opportunity for her to get ahead while still homeschooling. If you're a homeschool family looking for a way to take that next step, NCC is a great option. Small class sizes, supportive instructors, and affordable tuition make it an easy choice. So, if you're ready to start your success story, check out nccbound.com/homeschool. A big thanks to NCC for making videos like this possible. Want to join our next adventure? Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future episodes. See you in the next video. See that? Whoa. I just did that.
Sometimes that happens.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, yes, I am wet. Like I said, YouTube can keep you humble too.